The government has announced new funding to create so-called manufacturing zones across the East Midlands. The pilot scheme will see 4 areas in Leicestershire, Derbyshire and Lincolnshire share £500,000.
It's hoped it'll support industries ranging from food and drink to domestic and intergalactic transport. Well, Maurice Flynn is in Leicester at one of the areas which will benefit. Maurice, good evening.
Good evening, Dom. Yes, these pilot zones will, including one that will be built beside the National Space Centre here, will share £500,000. Now, to break that down, the lion's share, £220,000, will go to Derbyshire to support industries developing and emerging from the HS2 train network. Lincolnshire will get £155,000. That will help support its food sector and advanced manufacturing, the kind of things that will take it into the digital age. And in Leicestershire, they'll share £125,000. That's between 2 sites, £75,000 going to Melton Mowbray to help with its food and drink businesses, and £50,000 coming here for the University of Leicester to harness the city's thriving space industries.
Space is big, and I don't just mean size. It's big business and big news, particularly this week. Who could forget the festive photos of space snowman Ultima Thule, and news today of China landing a robotic probe on the dark side of the moon. £50,000 here in Leicester isn't going to make the same headlines, but it's hoped it'll unlock further investment to tap into the UK's space industry, estimated to be worth £40 billion.
This is a small amount of money for the starting point, just to get our plans in place. But the ambition, of course, is to build a satellite factory, and we'll be building satellites of the future. Our university has a lot of skills and expertise in that, and that's what's going to bring real jobs and growth to the economy.
For the University of Leicester, the money will support its low-cost access to space facility, to be built beside the Space Centre.
The uni has already developed the spectrometer on board the Bepi Colombo, which is heading to Mercury, and it's more projects like this that they want to encourage.
There's going to be loads of jobs for people working as technicians, people working in labs, people working on missions which are going to go into low Earth orbit. Huge opportunities for people living within the shadow of the Space Centre itself to come and work here. It's going to be brilliant.
Touring East Midlands Airport earlier, the Community Secretary said choosing to pilot these new manufacturing zones in the East Midlands is a sign Westminster acknowledges the region's manufacturing prowess.
For the East Midlands, this £500,000 of work that's going in to actually do this investment, to actually do the work to see the jobs getting unlocked, I think it shows that commitment that we have to this area.
The East Midlands Chamber today reacted, saying the East Midlands has for too long achieved success despite an apparent lack of recognition from government. So it's delighted to acknowledge this £500,000 investment in economic growth and new jobs.
Now, some of you might remember that this space park beside the National Space Centre here was declared an enterprise zone a couple of years ago. It's also been declared now a manufacturing zone. Both things are happening. They're going to dovetail, and effectively they remove or ease planning restrictions, which means that manufacturing can make the most productive use of the land. It also means that other areas will then be protected for housing and for leisure.